So let's talk about that grim, horrible season, worst season in obviously from a playing point of view to get relegated from the Football League is as bad as it could ever get. And we'll talk about the Rotherham day in a moment, but I just looked at the squad that we had of players who played for Aldershot in the season we got relegated from the Football League, and I'm seeing names like Sonny Bradley, Troy Brown, Danny Hilton, although to be fair, he was injured for a part of it, but Danny Hilton, Aaron Morris went on to play Football League. He had Michael Hector on loan for a little while, who, of course, playing in the Premier League now. Danny Rose, Peter Vincenti, Jamie Young's gone and had a good career over in Australia since he's gone back to Brisbane. So, how does a squad with that quality get relegated from the Football League?
Oh, Graham. We weren't good enough. Discipline wasn't good enough. I'll be honest with you. Training I didn't think was good enough in terms of I've seen players walk in from training. They've got a decision against them or whatever, and they've got the ump and they walk in. I've never ever seen that in my life. A player walk in from training. What's going on there? Even when you're telling them. So there was a lack of respect from certain players as well. Certain players there, we'd signed. We'd lost our identity. Well, lost it as well. We were probably paying far too much money to some players as well, who didn't warrant it. To be honest with you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with paying good money to players that are good. They're going to help. No problem with that. It's always fine for marketplace. But some of them weren't good enough, and they were there for show rather than actual substance. And I've got to say, you're right. There's good quality there. Needed more leadership, I'd say, in there. Though they were young at the time, a lot of them. What you're saying there. Sonny Bradley's on loan from Hull. Troy Brown's not played that many games. Aaron Morris hasn't played that many games. I mean, Danny's played a few, but like I said, he was injured in that. But still, he's very young then as well. So a lot of inexperience there. I just think that that team had a little bit more experience around it, then and a little bit more guidance. Then it could have been better. Did we have a real identity of how we're going to play? Probably not. No. It's really with that team. Now you've said that that shouldn't be getting relegated, should it? You've got Sonny Bradley, captain in the Championship now. You've had players there like Jamie Young that have been voted the A-League goalkeeper of the year for the last 3 years, I think, something like that. I still speak to him, Youngie, to be fair. So yeah, they shouldn't be getting relegated. Absolutely not. But there were so many things going off the pitch as well with the club as well at the time. The club didn't have a clue where it was going, mate. To be honest with you. We had a chief executive who came in who said, I've told you this before, but it's worth reiterating. We had this big launch, didn't we, with this new kit, way over the top for little old Aldershot, let's be honest. It was like Premier League level sort of thing. It's way too pompous for what we were. And that kind of, that fakeness, I'm going to say fakeness, was not us, but the club thought it was. And it was almost like this style that they were going to go down. And it's like, that's not us. That's not, and also you haven't got the infrastructure to back that up. This is fake. This is completely like you're portraying yourselves at a level here, which you're really not. But it's the illusion we were trying to create. And I've got to say that probably filtered down to the football club in terms of the players. Because I remember the chief executive at the time said to us in the Aviator Hotel, wasn't it? And in Farnborough, that said in his opening gambit was Aldershot Town Football Club is now business first, football club second. And within that one sentence, I think you've really missed what a football club is about, because your sole purpose is to win football matches and entertain people effectively, and to bring the community together, and you do that through football. The business side of it runs off the football side of it, as you'll see. If you're successful on the pitch and you're playing a great brand of football and winning games, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to sell season tickets, you're going to sell tickets, you're going to sell sponsorship, you're going to sell hospitality staff, everything that feeds off the back of that. Not the other way around. And that's where people, in my opinion, get it so wrong. What happens on the football pitch is pivotal to a football club's business. And if you get that football bit right, then your business the prerequisite of the business is the football. So, and that's where we went wrong, mate, to be honest with you. And, like I say, too many players coming in on loan, chopping, changing, this, that and the other sort of thing. And, we changed managers as well, and it just, I don't know, mate. It was just a mess, to be honest with you. It was sad for me, though, Graham, I've got to say, because That last season, I probably should have gone. I probably should have left for my own career. You know, I had really good offers. Preston wanted to sign me. I went up there to have a medical and speak to them. And Bradford was probably where I was going to go. And if I look back, you know, it's I don't never regret anything, Graham, at all, because you know I am where I am now, and that's through my experiences of my past, if you like. And but yeah, Phil Parkinson was desperate to sign me. Offered me, I think, a 3-year deal. Again, probably double my money from all the shots money. You know, great bonuses, everything like that sort of thing. Really wanted me. Went up to Preston, spoke to Graham Wesley, which was interesting. And I don't know, mate. I remember just lying in bed one day. I couldn't get out of bed. I had so many things going through my head. I'd flown back from America early as well to go and speak to these clubs. So I sacrificed my holiday effectively. I don't know. I just had a bit of a love affair with Aldershot, really, you know, and stupidly. And basically, mate, yeah, it from a personal point of view, yeah, it cost me dear, really, I suppose, in the cold light of day. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit, even though Bradford went on to the Carling Cup final, got promoted.
I'm going to come back to your career in a moment as a professional footballer, because firstly, touch on the changes of management, because as you said earlier there, Dean went, I think it was a February time, Andy Scott came in a couple of days later. Matt Bishop went the month before, all a bit bizarre. I can remember him actually being, you know, with contract being terminated in the car park of the Aldershot Military Stadium when our army team were playing an Aldershot under team, and it was just, I could see him and John Leppard, one of the directors, having a chat in the car park. And then I found out in the evening that he was on his way, and it was all very bizarre. And everything there was all just skullduggery and nothing. You didn't know where to turn to know who was telling you the truth or not. And I've had so many different versions from people of responsibility within the football club telling me different versions, that one of them is telling me a lie. And if I'm getting that running the media at the time, which is all very bizarre, it must be pretty difficult as a player, probably having similar kind of situations.
It's a circus, mate. That's what it was. It was a circus. You know, the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, or that's if you're looking at it as a purist and is you thinking it's being honest, you know, or is it actually the right hand does know what the left hand's doing, but they're just doing the opposite for show? I don't know. It was just like I say. To be honest with you, mate, football clubs need direction from the top, and we didn't have it. That's the bottom line. The club didn't have that leadership, that real direction, that identity. It was just too many cooks, too many people got to say, and it filtered down 100%. No, it was just a joke, basically. You know, people not turning up for training. You know, different players coming in all the time, different chief executives coming in time. Then we've got, like, you know, some commercial sponsorship guy who's dead busy on Twitter and all this sort of stuff going on. It's like, and then all these other piece hangers on start coming in. It's like, what do you do? Who's he? What is he? It was just a mess, mate, to be honest with you. We just lost that. We were little Aldershot, right? We were in the Football League. You're 16, 17, 18 years old now because you've had to reform. You've been through the tough times. You know, you've galvanised people and they've been on that journey with you. And now you're losing them because you've lost your identity and they can't identify what's going on anymore. There you go. There's the soul of your club's been ripped out, mate. You're gone. And that's what happens.
Was it right for Dean to go when he did?
Probably not. Or definitely not in hindsight. We got relegated, so what's the alternative? You know, we would have got relegated with him. We beat Torquay on Tuesday night 1-0. We weren't in the relegation zone then. Should he have got relegated? Should he have got? No, I just felt that a lot of them were his players, rightly or wrongly, good enough or not good enough. They were his players. To change it at that time, February, was this. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. But in hindsight, I think it was a bad decision at the time, because you've then got to, unless you're going to get an influx of players coming in who are going to help you and really turn the corner. But that wasn't the case because we didn't have any money. So it was like we were still stuck with the same players, but with a different manager who didn't know them and they didn't know him. it's very difficult. You know, you might win some, but it's, I think, too difficult. And again, did we have another chief executive at the time as well? Probably pulling in one direction and another person pulling in another. So again, just a turmoil all over the place, mate. So I would say no.
And then Andy comes in. I think we beat Fleetwood early on, and I think it might have been his first game, if I remember rightly, or one of his early games. And then I can remember going up to Bradford, and we were winning. And then it was about the 8th or 9th minute of injury time, and then they scored. And I always got the thought that if we'd have won that game, I think we might have given ourselves a chance to stay up. But it seemed to be like a slippery slope after that.
Yeah, I remember the game. I think Jamie Young got concussion, didn't he, during the game, and had to go to hospital, I think, as well. Yeah, I remember they scored late on. Yeah, any game that they score late on is a bit of a sucker punch, really. Certainly going up there with a big crowd. It's to be honest with you, mate. Like, obviously, then you're still talking Dino's still talking to some players as well as that's going on, and like, you know, you know what it's like, man. So much politics going on. It's just destabilising. We just weren't a united front. We weren't good enough for a start, and some of the players didn't work hard enough and didn't want it enough, didn't mean enough to them, and some of them just didn't try. You know. And,
does that cause a rift within the playing? Because you're talking there, and I can remember talking to some of the other senior players who would be saying exactly what you're telling me there, that there were players in that dressing room working hard enough. So does that cause a problem within the players like yourselves, and Jamie Young would be an example I would give, Peter Vincenti, and it's probably one or two others I could think of, who were what I would class proper professional footballers, whose attitude would be straight down the line, know what you've got to do, know what's needed, knows what's required. And you've got another group of players, and some will be in for a few games and then they don't have that affinity or anything, who would have a totally different attitude. So does that cause a rift within the whole dressing room?
Yeah, of course it does. You don't respect them. I didn't respect some of them. And being captain, I remember Morecambe away, we lost 2-1, I think it was. And I remember either at half-time or the end of the game, I think I had to be pulled apart from one of them. I wanted to kill him because they had enough. I think the other players had enough, and I felt it was my job as captain to actually dig this person out, because I won't name him because I don't think it's fair, but they didn't work hard enough. They were there for show. They didn't work hard. They were fat. They were lazy. They were shooting off after training early, blah, blah, blah sort of thing. And I felt as a captain, I had to say something, because we were staring down the barrel at that point. Tuesday night away at Morecambe, you got to get something. We lost 2-1. We are literally staring at the abyss. And it didn't look like to me they cared enough. We'd lose a game, Graham, and then on the coach on the way home, people are laughing and joking down the back sort of thing 5 minutes later sort of thing. And like, I don't know, you should just wind me up, to be honest with you, because I think like you just don't care. You don't realise what this means. And, some of their attitudes were, well, we get ready, I'll go somewhere else sort of thing. And that was that. And I was thinking, no, that's not what it's about, And yeah, of course it does, mate. Yeah, the respect thing, if I can look at you every day and go, do you know what? I might not like you as a person, okay, but do you know what? I respect you because you come in, you work hard every day, and you're fighting for the same cause, I mean, Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham didn't like each other, did they? But they formed a decent partnership at Man United. They both probably respected each other that way. But I didn't respect some of the players there because I just felt they were cheats. They wanted the limelight. They wanted the footballer tag. They wanted to go and buy a Louis Vuitton rucksack and then put it on the bus. And, look at me, I'm this big footballer. But they didn't want to work hard. I remember, I won't name the person, but they had a reasonable career afterwards. But I remember that we signed them, and I was just being jovial in the physio room, going, God, flipping it! Look at you! You signed for a football league club. You've got a new place, rented a new house, or whatever it was, and bought himself a Mercedes. And I remember the player. You won't believe this. Like back on the physio bed, like this. I was going, yeah. It's taken me 5 years to make it here. I was like, are you taking a mick? I'm messing around. Are you taking a mick? Like, you actually think you've made it in life because you're here? I said, come on. That typified how people viewed it, to be honest with you, mate. Teams had games in hand on us. like Torquay or someone like that. And I just remember it's one particular night they all won, and it pulled us in, I think, into the relegation zone. And I just remember I couldn't sleep that night, and I expected the same from people at the club. And talk about leadership and direction. Who was the chairman at the time? I have no idea. Was it him, or was it him, or was it him, or was it him? Who owed us the money? Was it him? Was it him? Was it him? We were on a merry goose chase, you know. No one knew what was going on.